Hello, family, friends, and everyone on the internet. Anne here, just calling to say hi. Um, I'm feeling fine. I'll go through the three things that people usually ask me about. How am I feeling? I'm feeling fine. A little back pain here and there. Baby's kicking the way the baby's supposed to, so I'm very excited about that. Baby's kicking late at night, but that's okay. That's fine. As long as it's kicking, I'm all good with that. That's the way I know that everything's still okay with the baby. Do I know the sex yet? No, I do not know the sex of the baby. Neither Jason and I know that, and I will go into why we don't know. We do want to know the sex of the baby, but we're just not sure yet, and I'll go into my story of the world's worst ultrasound ever. We don't have any names picked out. We have some names that we like, but we're not really married to anything quite yet. We've got 3 more months. I'm on my 26th week, so we've got time. Okay, so here goes my story of the world's worst ultrasound. A couple days before my 20-week ultrasound, you know, the big ultrasound where you're supposed to figure out if it's a boy or a girl, you know, I was going on YouTube and, you know, seeing all these people, you know, with their amazing ultrasound experiences, you know, like, oh, it's so great, like, oh, it's a girl, oh, it's a boy, oh, twins, oh, look at that, you know. So, you know, it made me pretty happy and pretty excited about my ultrasound experience. So the day of the ultrasound, I went to the hospital, and it was a different hospital than I'm used to, and they only send me to this hospital in order to get ultrasounds because my doctor's office is a little too busy to just do ultrasounds all day long. They only do it for special cases. So I went to this hospital, and with my video camera, my husband, Jason, was going to meet me there, and you know, I'm getting my video camera all ready, and they call me into the ultrasound room, the ultrasound tech, ER. I will just, you know, that's the lady, the ultrasound tech's name, and I know her name. I have memorized it inside my brain. It's like etched in my brain now because I'll never forget her name. If I have to go back to that hospital, I will never, ever go back to her ever again because she kind of freaked me out. So ER calls me into the room, and, you know, she's like, oh, okay, well, you know, go ahead and go on the table, and we'll just need you to, you know, get undressed or get undressed halfway, you know, whatever, usual ultrasound things. So I'm getting the video camera ready because Jason's not there yet, you know, he's stuck in traffic, and I have no signal on my cell phone, and he's trying to text me saying that he's stuck in traffic. I didn't know that, so I'm getting the video camera ready. She's like, oh, no video cameras allowed at this hospital, and I'm like, are you sure? You know, like, I've seen ultrasound videos before, and it's kind of my own ultrasound. I'm not going to share it with anybody. And so she asked her supervisor, and yes, there's no video cameras allowed. So I was a little bummed about that because Jason wasn't there, and, you know, I didn't know what I was going to be able to see. You know, so he warned me, you know, my doctor warned me, you know, that ultrasound tech is not going to, they're not allowed to give out any diagnoses, or, you know, so don't ask for anything. The only thing that you can ask for is the sex of the baby, which I totally understand. I work in the medical field. I know what a diagnosis is, and I understand what an ultrasound tech's job is. So anyway, I get on the table. During the whole ultrasound, she's absolutely silent, like silent. And it was starting to freak me out a little bit, and I was just wondering, and I'm starting to feel like there's something wrong with the baby because she's totally silent. She's not talking to me at all. At least talk about the weather, like, hey, how about those wildfires? You know, hey, how about the weather? Something. She absolutely said nothing to me, and, you know, the way that she was looking at the screen, she was like, you know, getting all close and like unsure of the screen, and so I'm, you know, I'm a pediatric nurse, first and foremost. I'm a nurse practitioner. Like, when I see somebody looking at the screen like that, I just start to get a little nervous. So, like, I start to cry, to myself, because I'm just like, okay, my husband's not here, and, this ultrasound tech's not talking to me, and, I don't know what's going on. So finally I asked her, I'm like, is the baby moving? Because, at this point, I'm not, I'm feeling the baby move, like little flutters here and there, and it's a little bit more, but I wasn't feeling the baby move that day, so for, some reason or another. So I asked her, I was like, is the baby moving? And she's like, well, I cannot give out a diagnosis. And I'm just like, well, Jesus Christ, I think the baby's dead. This is what's going through my mind right now. My husband's not here to see what's on the screen. She totally moved the screen so that I could not see the screen. No, this is the head, this is the belly, this is our legs, none of that. She's just totally silent, and, moving is not a diagnosis at all. I don't think you need to be in the medical profession to know that moving is not a diagnosis. But obviously she didn't know. So finally my husband shows up about halfway through the ultrasound. And so he walks into the room. It's like the best moment of my day when I see my husband, because at least I know that I have some kind of support system in there, because I'm sitting there sobbing. She's totally silent. And, so Jason walks in, he sees me crying, and the ultrasound tech is totally silent. So he thinks that something is wrong. And so he's like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, everything's okay. And, through my sobs, I'm like, Jason, is the baby moving? He's like, yeah, the baby's moving. It's okay. The baby's moving around a lot. I'm surprised you can't feel it. So I was like, okay, that made me feel a little better. So the baby was moving. So, she gets through the ultrasound, and then she starts, leaving the room. She comes back in the room, leaves the room, comes back in the room, leaves her. Like, she does this 3 times, and she doesn't tell us what she's doing. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, okay, something's definitely wrong with the baby, because she's not telling me why she's leaving the room and redoing things in the ultrasound. So I don't know. And finally, she's like, well, I'm going to have to do, a part of the ultrasound transvaginally, because, the baby's just not getting in the right position, because she had me going from my side to my back and back to my side and my back, and the baby still wasn't in a good position. So she gets the transvaginal thing out. It's not quite this thin. It's more like, about this, I would say about this, this diameter, a little bit longer than this pen. But she gets, the transvaginal stick out, I'll say, and she puts a cover on it. And even Jason, who is not part of the medical profession at all, he's like, that doesn't fit on there, like that's going through his mind, like, that doesn't fit on there. Does she know what she's doing? And so, like, a transvaginal ultrasound, it's something where, they stick, this little stick inside of your vagina in order to get to your cervix and, try and get a better image that way. What she does, and, TMI alert, she kind of, I don't know, she rubs the transvaginal ultrasound stick, like, on my vagina. She doesn't actually enter me. And that was like the defining moment. That this woman has never done an ultrasound before for a pregnant woman.